28mm probably isn't the first lens that comes to mind when people think of portrait photography. However, it is a lens that I've often used to photograph people, and I've enjoyed the process and the results. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 3 reasons why I shoot portrait photography at 28mm. The first reason I shoot portraits at 28mm is because of the field of view. Field of view describes the viewable area that can be imaged by a lens, and since 28mm sits at a wider angle, it allows for a lot of visual information to be taken in the frame. I think this capability really stands out when you want to go over some storytelling in your image. It allows you to combine subject and environment together in a single still, and this can give your viewer multiple things to explore within the frame, which in turn can keep them more engaged with the image, creating curiosity about what the story may or may not be about. And that's something I always say, the longer we can hold a viewer's attention, it's almost always going to be a good thing. And one final thing on this first reason, I think 28mm is a great sweet spot for all of the aforementioned, as once you start to go wider, more information will be able to enter the frame. However, along with that often will come heavier and heavier distortion in the image. And while this isn't necessarily a bad thing, it is something to consider and something I would categorize as being a little bit of a less grounded image, which is where I usually like to keep my photos. But to each their own, just some food for thought. So field of view is the first reason why I enjoy shooting portraits at 28mm. Reason number 2 is the convenience. I shoot on the Sony 28mm f2 lens, which is extremely light and compact. And from what I know, many of the other lens manufacturers' budget-friendly 28mm lenses share this same convenient form factor, so it's not exclusive to just Sony. And I really can't say enough about how important it is for me personally to not feel bogged down by gear when I'm out doing a portrait session. As you probably have seen by the photos and footage, I typically shoot outdoors with models and we are constantly moving around. So having a light, convenient setup that allows me to be out there for longer and enjoy the process more as well is so important. So a simple and trite reason for number 2, but the convenience is the second reason why I love taking portraits at 28mm. And the final reason I shoot portraits at 28mm is I find it to be an intimate lens. Allow me to explain. When we take a typical portrait from waist or shoulders up on, let's say, a 50 or 85, we have to create a certain amount of distance from ourselves and our subject to get that shot. However, when we take that same shot at 28mm, we have to zoom with our feet, physically close the distance, and be right next to our subject. This physical closeness and proximity is something that I think comes through in the final image and that a viewer can feel. In real life, there's a certain kinship we experience when we're physically close to someone. And I think the same goes for a photo in that way. It's a really hard thing to put into words, so I'll just roll these final photos that I've taken that I think fit this description of what I've just explained, and maybe one of them might speak to you and yeah, you'll understand. Okay, that's going to do it for today's video. It was a quick one. I hope you found the information to be helpful. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.